Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm of course your host, Droodles, Blitz, and in today's video I'll be playing in one of the least popular and worst performing tier 10s in the game, the Czechoslovakian tier 10 medium tank, the TVP 5051. Now when it comes to a lot of the European nation tanks, they feature autoloaders, and the TVP is the first burst autoloader we have in tier 10. What is a burst autoloader? Well, it's being able to dump out an incredible amount of damage very, very fast. And for having a 4-shell autoloader dumping out all of those 4 shells in a matter of 6 seconds, yeah, that's pretty fast. 1,240 damage dumped out in the same time as an AMX 50B. To put in an example, the Baschation 25-ton has a 3-shell clip that deals the same damage per shot, but obviously only 3 shells, so 930 damage. The Baschation 25-ton is going to take 2.8 seconds on each shell, which means it's 5.6 seconds to dump out 3 shells, where in this tank, it's only 4 seconds to dump out 3 shells, and that's still 900 damage, the same as a 183 standard shell. So, yeah, the TVP gun is incredibly deadly if you're actually able to get the side or any easy clip on an enemy opponent. But that's not to say there aren't downsides. And the downsides on this tank are the reason why it's one of the worst performing mediums and tanks in general in tier 10. If we take a look at its armor, it's only 75mm on the front and 40 on the sides, 30 on the rear. And this is a big old box. Its camouflage is not amazing. And because of that, it's a very easy penetration. Even the turret's only around 140mm thick. So it's a pretty easy pen. The only spots you really bounce on this tank are maybe the front when you're angling it really steep, and occasionally the turret gets an auto ricochet. But apart from that, it's not going to get many bounces. You can actually penetrate the lower plate with high explosive from any 150, and the sides can be penned with HE from any gun in the game, especially the rear, only being at 30 thick. So if you expose this tank for a prolonged amount of time, you're going to be ripped apart. And not to mention, you have a 22-second clip reload, and putting in your mind, any tier 10 medium can kill this tank faster than 22 seconds due to having over 3000 DPM. That's another downside of this tank. You need to be careful because if you position it improperly and it's exposed after you've dumped your clip, you're just a shooting target for everybody to see. And that is why average statistics are showing this to be one of the worst performing tanks in tier 10. And even when it comes to a lot of good players, they still just don't perform extremely well in this tank. Now, it's taken me a lot of battles to understand the playstyle and exactly how to run this tank, but after a lot of time, this has definitely become one of my favorite tier 10s in the game. So in today's video, I'm going to showcase 2 pretty solid games. I've played, I think about 12 or so battles in the tank. I mean, the statistics I've been able to perform at today are pretty solid. I'm going at around 75% win rate, and I'm sitting at 3,600 average damage. So the tank can definitely perform if you understand how to use it, and I want to point that out now. But with that aside, let's get into the first replay. Now, the thing to know about the TVP is because, as I said before, any medium tank, once you've clipped, can easily full health kill you. This is the problem with the tank that a lot of people struggle with, is that they play it like your average medium. And you really just can't do that, because if you play it like your average medium, you might get a 1200 damage clip on an enemy tank, but as soon as you dump that clip, you've now put yourself in an extremely vulnerable position to be absolutely murdered and bullied by any enemy tank. So you're going to notice in both of these games that, sure, I might play it towards the medium side at first, spot, see where the enemy tanks are going, but after that, I'm going to be very cautious and very calm and stay a little bit more passive. So we got the 62A in mid, alright, and we got the STB-1 crossing. Nice slap right into the side of his vehicle. You can see the absolutely fantastic dispersion here. I'm actually running refined gun on this tank. It's got great on movement dispersion, and I'd rather have the great aiming time and accuracy paired so that I can hit shots like that on the 62A. Now, one thing you do also need to know about the TVP, which is something that I needed to remind myself here as this was one of my first battles, is that the TVP has a very, very poor heat shell velocity, which means that if you try to hit shells like that and you lead it for your APCR shell velocity, when you load the heat, yeah, you might miss the shell or 2. So there's the Object 263 off to the side. I've just got my clip loaded back into the barrel. All right, we're only sitting at around 600 damage right now. And as you'll notice, my team's not doing all too great. We're down a tier 10 medium, being the E50M, and we're down an E75. I mean, that E75 literally died in an instant. I get one more shell out, but oh, I gotta get another 22-second clip reload here. This is where the DPM is just not your friend. When you've got to wait and reload the entire clip because you've only penned one shell. Basically, I'm a 62A with like 10 DPM at this point. But one more second, and there you have it. We've reloaded the entire clip. You can see I've made sure to put myself in positions where I won't bleed, where I know that if I'm reloading my clip, I'm supported by my fellow teammates. So now that I finally do have my clip loaded, there's an E75, and there it is, the mother load, the 60 TP. There's one, there's two, he misses me, 3, and 4. That is 1,200 damage we just dumped into that 60 TP. A full health heavy that was just sitting at 2,600 hit points is now sitting at 1,403. That is insane when you think about that. That you can bring a full health heavy down to half health in one clip with this vehicle. Now we're sitting from what was 900 damage to 2,084. I mean, that's not bad at all. We got the E75 right in the front. We're going to aim in one shell onto his turret, and a second shell onto his turret, and oh no, well, there goes 800 hit points from my vehicle. And you can see that, yeah, the heat pen on this vehicle, it's not great. I mean, the entirety of this Jag is basically red apart from his lower plate. And yeah, that's the big downside, is when you're using heat on this vehicle, it's still pretty tricky to actually penetrate those shells. Thankfully, we aimed them well, and we were able to cut them through, still dealing another 1,000 damage clip, now sitting at 3,178 damage dealt. I mean, that's it. We're already over 3,000 damage. Effectively, you only need to penetrate about 2.5 clips in this vehicle, and you're sitting at 3,000. There you go, another 2 shells into the Jag Panzer. Now we're up to 3,675 damage. And at this point in the game, I know that I'm probably not going to get much more damage out, so I'm not going to load my clip. Ah, come on. Well, that would have actually helped me if I maybe was running V-stabs in that situation. We might have hit that shot, but hey, we're over 4,000 damage at this point. I'm not too mad at all. And in 10 more seconds, we might just be able to clip another couple shells into the 60 TP. So reloading, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And put on our auto aim, 1 and 2. And can we get the third one out? Fire! Yeah, there you go. We got 3 shells into that 60 TP, and we were able to finish off this battle with 4,700 damage. This is where the TVP is the occasional game that I play in it, where you just do the job correctly. You notice where the enemy's weak spots are, you get to their sides, and you get some massive clips in this tank. I play it very similar to a Bastion, where it's a mobile tank destroyer. You've got a lot of damage to use, and you've got a lot of mobility to put it into that position to use. So it's very nice in that situation, and with that, I mean, 4,700 damage, not bad at all. But let's get into the second battle, which would be on Nube, and this was more of a tricky battle, where your team's falling apart, you don't have the DPM to really support your team fully, but we're gonna see what happens here. So what do they have? They got a Kranvang, Object 140, Skoda T50, Jagdpanzer E4, and a Waffenträger Panzer IV. Now, I'll be honest, at the beginning of this battle, I made a mistake, because I wasn't really paying attention to where my team was going. I'm driving towards base A, as you'll see, and I'm going to look behind me in a moment here. I wasn't really looking, because I was kind of watching YouTube while I was playing, and yeah, then I turned around and I said, oh crap, my team's not here. Drive, 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 turn, turn. Okay, we didn't get hit, thankfully. Alright, drive. Oh, I get shot. I don't even know where that shell came from, to be real. And we get shot again by the Skoda T50. So we've just bled about 600 hit points, which isn't great at the beginning of a battle, especially judging that we did nothing back to the enemy team. Kind of a 40%er play there from me, but oh well. My team pushed to town. I don't like going to town, as many of you know, on Noob Bay. So I guess we're going to go towards the town and see what we can do. Now, thankfully, the enemy mediums decided that they weren't going to flank from the rear, and instead they were going to catch up with the rest of their team, because their team also went to this side. But that's really solid for me, because the enemy mediums, as you'll notice later in this battle, don't actually end up going to the medium side. It gives me a very, very strong advantage. But there you go. That's 953 damage. In a matter of 4 seconds, we just took 900 hit points, almost half of that cron off, and now we just reload the clip. And this is, again, a situation where I know that I'm completely covered by my teammates, so I can just kind of chill here. I can enjoy the view. I got my grill off to the side. He's got about 900 hit points as well. Well, actually about 600, not 900. And I'm just chilling here. We got the VK90, we got the E4. Maybe we can get a shell into this E4. Let's back up. Boom! 1 shell into the E4 and 2 shells. That's another 600 hit points and instantly reloading the clip. You'll notice whenever I know that I'm not going to be having shells in the next couple of seconds that are going to be hitting the enemy opponents, I'm just going to reload. So I'm going to just reload the whole clip the moment I see that E4 is backing up. I also kind of BM that grill there, but to be honest, he deserved that. I don't know why he poked this, but oh well. We've got the Object 140 in front. There's 1 shell into the Object 140, 2 shells into the Object 140. There's a shell into the Skoda, and fire. Oh, I think it bounced off his turret. Yes, armor not pierced. So we're doing pretty good, though. We're up to 2,200 damage dealt. We've brought the Skoda down to a 1-shot. And, I mean, that's really, really solid. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use a shell on that Skoda and then have to reload my clip if I do find him later in that battle. Now, you can see him flanking far. Because the enemy mediums decided to play a little bad, I would have to say, and go for my Foch, that gave me the advantage to clear the 140, gave me the advantage to shoot the Skoda and make him a 1-shot. But at this situation right now, the enemy team has a lot more hit points than our team. They're at least double our hit point pool, which isn't great. So I got to be extremely careful, but ooh, yes, this Skoda is done. You can see I'm just going to go right down this ramp, and yeah, there's really nothing the Skoda can do after this moment here. So we're just going to, boop, slap a shell into his tank and instantly reload that clip. 22 seconds. You don't know how bad I wanted to clip that VK90, but I also know that you need the clear mobility. It is a rule of thumb that nearing the end of your battle, especially when you see your team falling apart like this, you need to clear your biggest threats. And in this game, I know my biggest threat is going to be that Skoda. I waited for this VK90 to poke so I could confirm, you know, all my 4 shells into his tank. There's 3 and 4. There you have it. I mean, that's a 1,200 damage clip into his vehicle. We were just at around 2,500 damage. Now we're at 3,624. So all we got left is an IS-4. Now, this IS-4 can statistically penetrate 1 shell either on that waffle or the E4 or the VK90 and make all of them potentially 1-shots for me or kill the waffle. And the IS-4 does nothing. Literally nothing. I hate this game sometimes. Unfortunately, that shell just misses that Waffenträger, and I'm over here and aiming at that E4. Nice. That's exactly what I wanted. You can see our upper plate got that bounce. Now, I wasn't worried about being penned in that situation. He tried shooting at an extremely steep angle, which, as we all know, if you angle your upper plate over 72 degrees, you're going to get an auto ricochet anyway. So I wasn't too worried about that penning me. Right now, we got the VK90 that was looking at me, and I know that the only base we have captured is B, and most likely the enemy team would head towards base B to try and get the base when on base capture. So right now I'm going this way. Oh, there's the waffle spotted. And yeet! Alright, waffle's cleared. Instantly reloading the clip. The moment the waffle spots me, I know I have to reload that clip because I need shells to kill the other opponents. And, well, let's find out. So reloading, 10 more seconds left. Ooh, we see somebody's in base B, and I was kind of thinking right now, do I have time to go around? You can see I was getting ready to go towards B, but a different route. But I was like, you know what? No, I don't have the time. They're already up to 730 on the base cap. I don't want to waste time. And I've got enough health to take a shell from both of these tanks. So here we go. All right, 1 shell into the T110E4, and oh my god. This is why auto-aim sucks. A lot of people say PC auto-aim is amazing. It's not. Aimed at center mash, you can see my reticle, and the shell goes there. Like, what? That bounce almost screwed this game because now I've got the VK90. Now, I wanted to shoot that VK90 so that he was a 1-shot, but realistically, if auto-aim didn't screw that shot, we would have easily been able to clear that E4 and then also easily clear that VK90. But, the Wargaming Lords feel sorry for me, and they give me the opportunity to miss the shell, or the VK90 to miss the shell on me. So I just need to reload my clip. And at this point, here we go. Easy heat shell into his lower plate. There you have it. That is a dub. So this was not the easiest of battles, and it definitely showcases the constant reloading of your clip in this tank. But we got a Mastery, we got a Kalabanov's, and it just shows where this tank can be amazing. I love the TVP. It will always be one of my favorite tier 10 mediums due to its unique playstyle. There are a lot of people out there, including some of you, that will probably say this tank is doo-doo, but clearly today, out of the 12 battles I have played solo, mind you not, I've been able to showcase that this tank can perform well. 12 battles, 3,600 average damage. It's a solid tank. So there's a lot of people out there that will be Debbie Downers on this tank. Don't let them dissuade you. If you're doing bad in this vehicle, understand that it's an extremely niche and hard playstyle, and it definitely takes a lot of brain cells to use. But other than that, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. Bye-bye!